Tonight on KOMU 8 News at 6.
We argued for last. The judge made a decision, a very difficult decision.
More than 2 years after the crime, a teenage killer learns her fate.
I'm possessed. The chilling words a mother uttered to a pastor before police say she slit her baby's throat.
And swarming the Capitol, Missourians get fired up over payday loans. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at 6.
I need a priest, tie me up, don't let me near my baby.
Those were the words one pastor says he heard from the woman now accused of slashing her baby's throat. We'll have that conversation coming up in just a few minutes.
But first, a judge sentences 18-year-old Alyssa Bustamante today for the murder of 9-year-old Elizabeth Olten in 2009. KOMU 8's Megan Malares was in court this morning for the sentencing, and she joins us now in the studio. Megan.
Well, Judge Patricia Joyce sentenced Alyssa Bustamante to life in prison for second-degree murder and an additional 30 more years for armed criminal action. Now, Bustamante will serve these sentences consecutively, so she could spend 60 years in the high-security women's correctional facility in Vandalia. But while the prosecution is satisfied with the sentence, the family of the victim says justice was not served.
She was the product of a very chaotic, traumatic childhood. She had serious issues as to suicide.
But these issues weren't enough to sway a judge, and Bustamante was unaware of that as she walked into court, prepared for a last attempt at redemption. Before the sentence, she spoke in court for the first time directly to the Olten family. Softly, she said, quote, "I know words can never be enough, and they can never adequately describe how horrible I feel for all of this. I am so sorry. If I could give my life to give her back, I would."
Murder cases are always difficult. A life has been ended. We're going to try to seek the most just punishment we can seek for our community, weighing what the victim's family asked for also.
What the family wanted was life in prison without parole, an option no longer possible once Bustamante accepted a plea agreement. Bustamante's life sentence really means 30 years under Missouri law, but then she'll serve 30 more for the other charge. As Bustamante left court, she ended a 2-year case, a case that never will close for a family who still searches for closure. An Olten family spokesperson said today no sentence can adequately punish Bustamante. The family asked people to go forward and remember Elizabeth Olten's life. Bustamante could be eligible for parole in as soon as 20 to 40 years.
And we had a flurry of activity on our Facebook page in response to that life sentence. Dana Hendren Graham says that's sad. She doesn't deserve parole. I don't care if she was a juvenile. It was clear in her journals that she enjoyed it and would do it again. Meanwhile, Bobby Height said, I do think the sentence is appropriate. She knew what she was doing and knew it was wrong. The diary entry itself proved that. If you've got an opinion, log on to our Facebook page, KOMU TV, and let us know what you think.
Now back to that other story, that 9-month-old Camden County girl we told you about yesterday with the slashed throat left the hospital today. Police say her mom did it.
She is now in the custody of the juvenile court personnel, the baby that is. KOMU 8's Veronica Polivania dug deep today to uncover the insight into the mother's troubled past.
Jim and Angie, I got an exclusive interview with Pastor Bob Abuchan today, who says the baby's mother, Brady Simpson, visited him last October. He says this is the first TV interview he's done since last weekend's incident. Pastor Bob Abuchan remembers the visitor to this church last year. He says Brady Simpson came to him claiming she was possessed.
Found out that she had written to one of the officers on a piece of paper that when she opens her mouth, the demons possess her through her mouth.
Abuchan says he called 911 and later learned Simpson received the help she needed. The officials took the baby away so she could receive medical attention. The incident came as a shock to Abuchan.
I naturally had hoped that, things had turned around for her.
Abuchan isn't the only one struggling to understand.
I got 3 kids of my own. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to anybody.
But others just want justice.
She sure doesn't need any more children if they can help her, but if they can't help her, she needs to be put away for life.
with all working hard to regain normalcy. Simpson is now in the hospital with her own throat wound, and the state says it won't try her until she recovers.
Okay, thanks a lot, Veronica.
Columbia police officers are responding to a shots fired call in the Red Wing Drive area, northeast Columbia. According to a police sergeant, there were reports of 2 vehicles shooting at each other. No one was hurt as of right now. We'll continue to update the story as it develops.
Well, it was a cloudy, dreary day out across central Missouri. Those clouds continue to sit over the top of us, but they are not producing any precipitation as we go ahead and send it on over to Live Doppler 8 First Alert Radar. You can see a far cry from what we had on the radar last night. Will be mostly cloudy overnight. Chilly morning to start tomorrow as we drop down to 22 degrees. I'll have more details on the big cool down coming up this weekend. That's up in just a bit.
The effects of this
Michelle, thank you very much. The drizzle and snow didn't stop payday loan supporters from showing up in Jefferson City. KOMU8's Irish Zhang has more on why the group thinks the proposal is bad for the state's economy.
The unison in a chant was evident in the message carried by all. A payday loan initiative brings them together.
Because it would take the opportunity away from people that need small loans to get those loans, to build their credit.
This initiative takes all loans out of play.
The proposed reform will cap the interest rate on payday loans at 36%. The state says the average APR on payday loans here is currently more than 400%, and under Missouri law, it could go as high as 1,900%. But this mostly conservative group says limits would hurt the economy by destroying payday loan jobs and limiting loans to certain people. But the bill sponsor doesn't buy the job chant.
This is a phony group. It's a front group for the predatory loan industry.
Still says her proposal would not harm the economy and more economic loans would still be available.
Let's go, Missouri! Let's go!
Now both sides hope to get their messages out to those who would sign the petition. Irish Zhang, KOMU News, Jefferson City.
That initiative will need about 90,000 signatures to qualify for the November ballot.
Also at the Capitol today, MoDOT officials told us they're disappointed in an attempt by the legislature to block toll roads in Missouri. The House gave first-round approval yesterday to a plan that would block toll roads unless approved by voters. The bill comes after MoDOT announced it would want a private partner to front the money needed for the toll system. But the bill's sponsor says the plan just doesn't make sense.
A Jefferson City bar is facing suspension of its liquor license. KOMU8's Heather Trumpfeller is live to tell us more about the violations. Heather.
Thanks, Jim and Angie. I'm standing here in front of Chick's Tap Room in Jefferson City, which is currently up and running. But this morning, the bar owner received a letter in the mail informing him of a 2-week suspension of his liquor license due to too many violations. A fight broke out in the end of January, and among the violations that occurred that night were not contacting the police when a fight broke out, not having enough employees to control the crowd, and also smoking on a public place. The bar owner has 10 days to decide if he will fight the suspension.
They can appeal it and say, I will request a hearing in the hopes that by presenting their side, the board may reduce the suspension.
I talked to the bar owner this morning, and he does not know yet if he will appeal. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Heather Trumpfeller, KOMU8 News.
Parents are always telling their kids to use their brains. This week, it's the other way around. That's coming up a little later.
And if you thought today was cold, it gets even colder into the weekend. I'll have all the details on your forecast coming up.